Well, President Trump has announced that he's strongly considering imposing new sanctions on Russia because of Moscow's latest attacks on Ukraine. In a post on his Truth Social platform, the president called on both countries to get on with peace negotiations. But later, during a White House press conference, he once again appeared to blame Ukraine for standing in the way of peace.
We're doing very well with Russia. But right now they're bombing the hell out of Ukraine, I'm finding it more difficult, frankly, to deal with Ukraine. And they don't have the cards. They don't have the cards. As you know, we're meeting in Saudi Arabia on sometime next week, early. And we're talking, I find that in terms of getting a final settlement, it may be easier dealing with Russia, which is surprising because they have all the cards. I mean, they're bombing the hell out of them right now. And I put a statement in, a very strong statement. Can't do that, can't do that.
Mr. President?
We're trying to help them. And Ukraine has to get on the ball and get a job done.
So with Donald Trump now talking about possible sanctions against Russia, I asked our reporter, Stephen Simons in Washington, whether this means that the president is now going cold on Russia as well as Ukraine.
I think it's safe to say that the president is maybe playing games with the stick and the carrot and back to the stick and then a little bit of a carrot. And depending on who he's trying to address or push a little bit closer to what he wants, ceasefire as quickly as possible, then peace negotiations, peace deal. You're absolutely right. First, this post on Truth Social, threatening Russia with additional sanctions. Then, in this impromptu press conference in the Oval Office, no, he is best friends with Vladimir Putin. They understand each other well. And if Ukraine, that's a quote here, if Ukraine doesn't want to settle, we're out of here. Meaning, come to the table, work with us, work with the U.S. president, do what he wants. That's referring to the meeting next week in Saudi Arabia, which you have mentioned also, what he has mentioned also. So, no, Russia is still on the good side of the president. Ukraine is still on the bad side of the president.
Okay.
I think that's clear.
All right. That said, Ukrainian officials will be at next week's meeting in Saudi Arabia alongside the US Special Envoy, Steve Witkoff. Vladimir Zelensky won't be there, but Ukrainian officials will. So does that mean the Ukraine-US relationship is back on track?
I wouldn't call it yet being back on track, but there are signs and indicators that the United States or the White House administration, the Trump White House, is working on this. There is a will at the administration, from the administration, to make this work. Remember, there was a minerals and rare earth deal which fell apart just a week ago. Today, a week ago, they want that deal back. The United States want that deal with Ukraine, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, for example, said that they are working in previous conversations, which they had during the last week, as well as now next week, which they will have, to bring this relationship back on track between Volodymyr Zelensky and Donald Trump, as well as everybody else who's working on a peace. Again, the president seems to be absolutely gung-ho on a quick peace negotiations. He wants to be a peacemaker. He wants to do this quick. He had promised it to the Americans on his campaign trail, in his campaign, and he wants to do good on this. He's determined to do this. All the people who he has involved working on this are working to bring this relationship back to, let's say, workable grounds.
OK, thank you for that, Stephen. Stephen Simons in Washington. Meanwhile, the US aerospace company Maxar Technologies says it has temporarily suspended Ukraine's access to its data. Ukraine has relied on Maxar's high-resolution satellite imagery for defence and strategic planning, tracking Russian troop movements, assessing battlefield conditions and monitoring Russian damage to infrastructure. Maxar says the new restrictions are in line with the Trump administration's decision to suspend intelligence sharing with Ukraine.